You're good.
Ready to start? All right, welcome to the PACE meeting. I'm Bill Olendorf. I'm going to call Roe and Johnny Vaughn.
I'm here.
And Bob.
Mayor Courtney is here.
Courtney's
Glad to be here.
Bob is sitting in to make sure we have a quorum because some of the board members couldn't make it tonight. And with that being said, just want to talk a little bit about how we work here. And we'd ask whoever's presenting to come forward and give you your name and tell us a little bit about your project. And what we do, we ask questions about the project. We have a matrix that we score you with, and we have to get the information to put points on the matrix. And at the end of that, we then tally the score and average the score out between all of us. And if you make the minimum amount of score, then you qualify to go on to the Board of Works to get it approved. And if there's any questions or anything in the middle of that, you feel free to ask whatever you want. And with that being said, we'll go ahead and call our first. It's going to be an amendment, right, Nicole?
Yes.
It's an amendment for 707 Walnut?
East Main Street.
East Main Street. 707 East Main Street.
Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you to the board members and Mayor Courtney. And I certainly echo your remarks. Mullins family are very grateful for this program. I think it's made a big improvement for our house. You can see our main focus was painting and the shutters, and we had a very innovative plan that worked. I know box gutters are always a challenge for trying to do leaf guards or the more commercial kind. And our installer did a great job. So we feel like that's going to give us a lot of longevity there in an area that everybody who's got them knows how prone they are to damage. The other damage, but the main reason for our amendment is we had damage from Project 421. It came directly from the contractor, and we had a lot of problems. There was no other way to put it. I mean, there was. The wall was very old. I mean, you can see in a picture from the 1880s, the wall and the front wrought iron fence was there, and the pictures they took in early 2019, the wall was still in good shape. But as you know, they used the front loaders, whacked away, and if they'd used jackhammers, thinking it would have been a little less intrusive. But at any rate, they damaged it, and I think what's most troubling to me was they just were not truthful. Kyle Beatty lied to me. NDOT lied to me because they kept saying that it was NDOT's problem, and then Kyle Beatty said, no, it's always NDOT's problem. And NDOT said it was too much money to replace it. Well, we filed a tort claim about a year ago, and of course the AG's office came back and said, no, it's the contractor that's responsible. So make a long story short, we're suing them, and I'm sure we'll get a resolution. But we had more than enough, we had enough expenses for the shutters and the painting and for the gutters repairs. So that's why we decided to go ahead, and Nicole, informed us we needed to do the amendment. So we did that. But the other thing that I wanted to make sure that you saw, Mr. Beatty sent me an email. I think Nicole gave everyone a copy of it. He had sent me Kyle Beatty sent me an email about, in October of last year, stating that how much would the PACE grant offset the cost of repairing the wall. Well, I'm not here to judge their whether that was stupidity or ignorance or unethical, but in any case, I thought it was important to know. I didn't feel like the spirit of city funds should be used to help contractors correct their mistakes. So, with that, I thank you for your consideration and hope that you can have it approved.
Okay. So we don't have a score sheet for this, right, Nicole?
No, it's just a
Yes or no?
motion and vote.
Motion to vote. So with that being said, does anyone have any further questions?
So, Phil, what is the timing of actually repairing the wall, and will it not happen until the resolution on the lawsuit with Beatty Construction is resolved?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, and it may be their insurance company, I'm
Yes.
really not sure
Sure.
how it will be, but
Sure.
One or the other, yes. So, I mean, we hope to get it done, but, it's dragged on for a long time already.
Yeah, there was a lot of impact in that area. I mean, I remember one area where they were just using this giant ball and surface, so it's, hopefully that you'll be able to resolve this without, a lengthy, battle with their insurance company.
Absolutely. Well, and we wanted to make sure, because what they had suggested was, as you can imagine, John Spacer was very helpful in the beginning. He says, well, you better talk to Nicole, because, it is limestone that was there. And they said, oh, no, it's not limestone. Well, Dr. Stan Totten, who was my geography teacher at Amber College, and worked at, on Lanier when they did some of their limestone work, verified that it was. So it will be done in accordance with the historic preservation. So we'll certainly get it done as soon as we are able to. Obviously, it'll be springtime at the earliest, but it will definitely be in conformance.
All right. Well, thank you, Phil.
Thank you.
So somebody want to make a motion on that?
Have we ever seen anything precedent like this?
Have we? I can't remember all the things.
You have done
We did
2 amendments, in the past. Well,
more.
you've reviewed 3 and approved 2, so it's up to the discretion of the board. And then his amendment will go before, Board of Public Works for approval also.
This is just a stepping stone.
Right.
Yes. And his request doesn't change the grant amount. All the work that he included was included in his application. He just had, grant funds at 0 for those items. So he's just really requesting to move that
So
amount
it's a
around.
net, it's a net number.
Correct, yes.
I would propose that we move forward or adopt this.
Sounds good. You want to second it?
I'll second, Mr. Vaughn's motion to, approve the amendment and move to Board of Public Works.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Thank you so much for your ability to use this grant and to stick with it to get it right.
Well, thank you very much. And I realize, Mayor, the compliance is a tough issue with contractors. I know we're working hard to get more funds from NDOT, but I think, again, when we look at how that's going to impact as we move closer to the city, it's one thing that just affects homeowners, but when it's going to be right up in front, I think maybe it's, they need a little pep talk depending on who it is, but I know that you've got that in good hands to take care of. Thank you all. So
Thank you.
happy holidays to everyone.
You too, Phil.
Mrs. Mullins, thank you very much too.
Thank you.
Bye now.
The next applicant is 124 East Street.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Chad Gray.
Chad?
Yeah, how's everybody doing?
Good, good. How you doing? You want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing here?
124 East Street, we are demoing about 3/4 of the house, and we're keeping the camelback that has been with the structure, and we're following that line back out. So it's going to be a shotgun. It's already been approved, even the demo through the historic board. It's attached to the house to the north, and it's causing water issues with them, and it's deteriorated the whole north side of that house. I don't know if there's pictures in there.
There's pictures. I'm trying to wing through them here real fast, but yeah. There's a lot
Yeah,
of pictures here.
it's, I'm not sure if the house to the north of it was built after, this shotgun style house, but they have set the brick right next to it. So when we tore out the inside drywall, the outside siding is actually missing. So when you go in the house now, it's gutted. So you're just looking at the neighbor's house. So there's only a couple inches
I've
there.
got that. I'm sorry, Chad, I was looking for the, summary sheet. There it is on the back of mine. Thank you.
Okay, so what you're asking for then is the $25,000?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you're-
it's structural. We have to do all new foundation, and they said build a new house in front of the camelback.
The camelback shotguns are unique around town, but there are a few, but they are really unique.
Yeah,
I'm glad you're able to preserve the rear portion, and the new portion will be on the same footprint, same size, already approved by historic board, so you.
already approved by the historic board, yeah. It is not the exact same footprint that is there, but it will be the same footprint as the camelback coming forward.
Okay.
The original house had a couple additions off to the side, and there's actually no way to construct it the way that it was, since it's attached to the north house. There's only a couple inches there, so we're pulling it off of that home a a few feet to put a little sidewalk or,
Is this dilapidated?
Yes.
This is not marked on the front here.
Sorry.
What's the end game? What do you plan to do with it?
we're gonna keep it. It might be short-term rental, long-term rental. It's not gonna be for sale time soon. Just go through and fix it and decide what we're gonna do with it, but it won't be for sale.
Is the property empty or wasn't empty?
There was a lady living in there, and it had partial utilities. The roof was leaking so bad and the water damage, she only lived in the back. She lived in the kitchen, which was part of the Camelback.
And you're gonna do a rental on this when you get done?
Possibly,
Yeah.
possibly.
How long has she been out then?
Year. The last owner didn't even charge her rent for 3 years. She lived there for free.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is
It's
really
probably
bad.
Sounds like it still wasn't much of a deal.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
And as far as the original structure is gonna be preserved, but all the side pieces are gonna be changed?
Correct. We're keeping the Camelback, so we're keeping the original Camelback, and we're bringing the shotgun forward from there, and just trimming off 3 feet on each side, basically. It'll have the same roof line as the Camelback, though.
Does anybody have any more questions? Any questions?
Nope.
Well, thank you for the explanation. So, what we'll do is we'll tally the score up, and then at the end of the meeting, we'll go back over all the scores and then see how it qualified with everybody else.
Okay.
And then, Nicole will get a hold of you, or you can stick around if you want. We'll do that at the end of the meeting, so
Okay.
turn our matrix in and she gets going, okay?
All right. Appreciate your
Jeff,
time.
Thank
I just
you.
want to say thank you. You've made some great investments across downtown, and it's made a difference in the neighborhood, so thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, this is the first one, this is the first time I've applied a PACE grant for. Out of all the ones I've done downtown, this is the first
Wow.
time I've done it, so.
Did you know about the PACE grant before?
I did, the timeline didn't work out on a few of them. I was in a hurry. I didn't want to wait, so, yeah. I knew about it. I used it on the big building that I got on the west side of
I
town.
think we're getting the word out
East side.
better now than we did at the beginning, because at the beginning, my whole house has been finished, and I didn't even know there was a PACE grant.
Yeah, the word's out there. It's definitely helping. I mean, it's a great program. This house would be hard to justify
Oh,
a
yeah.
demo and build, without it. It would definitely help a lot.
And, the $25,000, dumpsters cost a lot of money, so you got a lot of work ahead of you, and so we appreciate that. That's
Yeah.
more of an investment for you than it is for the city, so we're just really excited about it happening.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the grant. So,
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much.
So while the board members score, I'll just go over the process moving forward. This board will make a recommendation on each application to the Board of Works. That Board of Works meeting is on Monday at 11:30. You all are welcome to attend, but it is not required. I'll represent all the applications that are passed forward. And then I will call each of you to let you know the outcome of that meeting, and then schedule a meeting to have you sign your grant agreement document and pick up your project sign. So you're welcome to stay through the whole rest of this meeting, but you don't need to if you would like to leave early.
The next one here is 506 Jefferson Street. Hi.
Georgia Hall.
Yeah.
I'm having some damage on the interior of my home, from water seeping through, and so I'm trying to get that repainted and caulked and all of that stuff, get that done.
And the damage is across the tuck lane? What's it from?
It's partially that, and I think some of it is the roof. I haven't had any luck with getting, any acknowledgement of that, so I'm trying to get somebody to, because I don't wanna repaint all the interior and so forth. contributing to that. So there is definitely some, areas that are loose, and then on the roof, the gentleman that, is gonna do it for me could see.
Cause I went by and looked at it, it doesn't look really bad, but.
Yeah, it's not on the exterior, but he said a lot of it is up on the top and the front, and between the two houses where they butt up against each other. He showed some areas that were kind of, soft on the roof where he could step on it, but my insurance company said they don't see that. And so he said he can tuck some of that stuff up on the top and in between the two buildings, and that should help.
So, the purpose of this, is to restore homes and exterior work mostly. And if there's damage in the interior from the exterior, then what the exterior is gonna be fixed, what doesn't do it again, is what the key to that is, so. With, and we don't really do roofs,
Right, I understand that.
and, we do tuck pointing, but, I didn't really see the tuck pointing, is it coming through the walls? The other thing I'm gonna throw this out there, because a lot of times in these houses downtown, the plumbing goes through the wall, and it goes out. If that plumbing is leaking inside the wall, it'll create a blister on the inside of your wall. You'll never be able to put paint on there unless you get the plumbing fixed.
Right, so it's not the plumbing. I've had
Okay.
a plumber come out and, yeah, so it's not that. That's not an issue. So it's all along the walls. There's some in the front and the top bedroom and the bottom, and then all along, the wall that's open, and then in the back room, there's some cracking, where the, houses butt each other, there's some cracking in the wall, and that
Yeah.
area was was done in the last 10 years. So, yeah.
Okay.
So he said he can see some up on, when he got up on the roof, you could see some areas where it was coming, and there's a crack in the front that you can see.
Okay.
And he thinks that's just coming through the walls and coming down it. The buckling is along the base of the wall too, where it kind of settles.
So the mortar and the ceiling that's gonna be on the exterior,
Yeah,
well, they're gonna seal it all up.
yeah, that's all outside.
And then that is, that's your house, isn't it?
It is mine.
You live there,
I
right?
do.
Gotta get our points on our matrix here, so.
Yes, no, I have lived there for 20+ years.
And, it is visible from the outside, and,
It is.
all you're doing is sealant and tuck pointing, so it's not really,
Yeah, and I'm gonna have it painted.
okay.
Yes, absolutely. But I wanna do that first because I don't wanna paint if there's
It-
areas where it's coming in, and so,
It won't solve your moisture issues
No.
inside if you don't take care of the
and that's why I'm
brick on
trying
the
to.
outside.
That's exactly what I'm
It
trying
could
to.
take a while for it to dry out, honestly.
That's why I'm trying to get that part done first before I repair the inside.
Okay, so, do you have any questions of us? Does anybody have any questions of her? I'll get a question.
How long have you lived there, Jordan?
Since 99.
Wow.
1999.
Okay. And it shows here the total cost of the project's about $11,000 is your estimate, and is that the work that's estimated for the exterior work?
That is only the exterior work.
Only the exterior, okay.
That is only the exterior work, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And, no, all the rest of it will, but I don't wanna have, go through the cost and the time for me to do the inside till I get that done, because I actually had part of the tuck pointing done on the side 7 or 8 years ago. And it held for a while, but it's all buckling back through again, so I'm just trying to, because I don't want that to keep happening, it's just doing damage, more and more internal damage.
Okay. Do you have any more questions for us?
So done.
Well, thank you for applying, and good luck.
Thank you, Jordan.
Thank you.
Thank you for investing in your home.
Oh, yes.
The next applicant is not here, but I can call him and he'll be on the phone. He had an appointment out of town, if that's all right.
approved through Historic Madison or whatever?
Yes. Hi Scott, I've got you on, with the PACE committee.
Hi there, you just called me on my phone when I just got in the car to go meet somebody. I just switched over Bluetooth.
Okay.
Yeah, what can I do? What can I answer for you?
Just wanted to talk to you about your project, if you wanna explain it to us, and then, we can go ahead and take a look at it and, get a score for you.
Yeah, that house is rotten top to bottom. The wall between there and the murder house next door, the white two-story that, Jenkins owned, there's no wall left. It's pretty well just open. That house has gotta come down, and we intend to build about a 1,000 square foot, 2-bedroom, 2-bath, shotgun next door, kind of more up-to-date design, more of a contemporary design, but that's the plan and then my mom's probably gonna move down. So, we moved here a couple years ago. We live on 3rd Street. I bought another Walnut Street house that we currently have. We haven't decided what we're doing with it. We're doing some updating, but, and then that one's a couple doors down. And I've contacted Jenkins about buying the one next to it, the white one, where the guy got murdered. If she'd be interested in selling, I'd like to get a hold of that. So, my wife and I bought and rehabbed properties and even historic for 30 years. We just moved down here 2 years ago, so.
Yeah, I noticed it's got ready to fall down, isn't it? I looked at the roof.
If I took 4 of my big buddies out there, we could push that house over.
I looked at it and I thought, man, won't take much to knock this down.
I've never even walked all the way to the back of that house, because about halfway through, I'm afraid of falling through the floor. The only thing holding you up is carpet in there.
How long's it been since somebody lived there?
A few years, I think maybe 3.
Okay.
I don't know how they lived there, but evidently they did.
Well, it's gonna be a good project for the area's gonna like to get rid of that. I know that's gonna be nice, and then they look forward to the new building. That'd be nice too.
Excuse me?
Do you have any questions for us?
I switched off Bluetooth. I'm back on my phone now. I've got feedback or something from you.
Oh, yeah? I didn't mean to feed anything back to you, but hey. No, we said it's gonna be a good project, because that area's gonna really like to see that structure gone. And as far as safety goes, that's good.
Yeah, Walnut Street, if you drive down Walnut Street, it's got some of the best architecture in town. It can be a beautiful street. It looks like there's, in that 2 or 3 blocks, it looks like there's probably 6 rehabs going on, which is great. Therein lies my interest in it, because, you know, it has a bright future. In 5 years, you probably won't recognize that street. But these derelict properties have to be taken care of. So, and I'm down for it. Like, I got a hold of Jenkins with the 2-story, but she wouldn't even talk to me. She just told me it belonged to a nonprofit, it wasn't for sale. But I mean, that's what we do, is fix houses. We've done it forever. So.
Well, thank you for applying. Do you have any questions for us?
I don't. For right now, I just need a demo permit, because I'm afraid of the liability on it. I went and screwed the storm doors shut and stuff to try to keep the homeless out of there, because I know they get in and out of the one next door. But, you know, I just want to get it down for liability, and as soon as that's done, when we get that permit, we'll submit some plans for the next house. I intend for Bumper to tear it down, and hopefully he can just do my foundation while he's got the equipment there for the new house.
That's good. Well, do you have any questions? Any questions for him? Bob, you got any questions?
Scott, good evening. It's Bob Courtney. How are you doing?
Hey Bob, how are you?
I'm great. Thank you for.
I'd have been at the meeting, but I didn't know about it until just shortly ago. If I knew yesterday, I'd have been there.
Oh, that's okay. Well, thank you for taking this on, and we hope that you can acquire the property next door, because that is in desperate need of a restoration as well. Have you talked to Debbie next door, that lives next door to this property? Your
Yeah, I see Debbie every couple of days. She comes and visits, because I've been just working on updating that one, just updating bathrooms and getting the kitchen ready for granite countertops and stuff in the 713 Walnut, and changing some flooring, we're just making it back really nice. It was a good house when we bought it, so just cosmetic stuff in there.
I agree with you. In 5 years, hopefully we'll have enough progress made in the Walnut Street corridor, which is one of our, targeted revitalization areas to, change the landscape. There's some beautiful architecture down there, and
I think it's at least as good as First or Second Street if you actually, when it's fixed, when it's done.
yeah. So I didn't have any questions, but I know that you need a demolition permit. This is a process, and we'll be going to the taking these applications and recommending them for approval with the Board of Public Works on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bob, Mayor. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
If there any questions, I can go over there about any time. I mean, I'm mostly retired, but today just wasn't a good day. I've been running since 7 this morning, and I won't be done for another couple hours. So.
That's all I had, Scott. Thank you.
Thank you so much for applying, and we'll get back with you to find out how you scored, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, and then one of our other plans, I'll have them up there and let everybody get their input before we submit for the new building to make sure that everything goes smoothly. I'm not in for any chaos. We just want to make it nice, that area. So it's all in my interest. I already own 2 there, and I'd like to own another couple. So everything is, that one just brings down everybody's property value. There's a few, but,
Yeah.
so.
Well, thank you.
Anyway, all right. Thanks, guys. You guys have a good night. Sorry I wasn't able to meet you.
That's okay.
Okay, Scott. Thank you.
All right.
Right. Now, Walnut Street is
Look.
getting good. I remember one of the first ones we did were those 2 houses that were like falling down and back,
On
burned out.
corner of 3rd and Walnut.
Yeah.
Over there.
Oh my
Have you
gosh.
seen the progress being made there now?
Yeah.
It's great.
Nice.
Probably between East Street and Walnut Street on 3rd, in that block area, there's been about $1 million of investment in the last year or so there. It looks fantastic.
Mhm. The next applicant is 812 Walnut Street. Hey, Pete.
Hi, my name is Link Ludington. I'm appearing on behalf of Cindy Burns,
All right.
and I just closed the docket. I would hope that I'm just advising on this rehabilitation, and Cindy is also anticipating doing a tax credit application in addition to the PACE grant. So I would hope that I hope that anything that would be of interest to the PACE grant review committee is already in the application, but if you want additional detail or.
I thought this is also another good application in an area that needs the investment. Very familiar with the property.
Yes, I think when I went by and looked at it, I thought, the backside of it is just terrible, I mean, it's,
Did you see the inside?
I didn't go inside, I don't have that.
There were photos.
The
Oh, yeah,
inside,
I saw
the
you
inside.
Yeah, because there's also structural work that is under the scope of the PACE grant.
I grew up 2 blocks from here, and the interior photos really surprised me, the condition it's in. Yeah.
I mean, I've been familiar with this is
Yeah.
a group of 3 more or less identical houses all on
Right.
the same block. So I've been familiar with these for years, and until I went inside, I had
Yeah.
no conception.
I know.
In fact, you may also have more detailed information about how long it's been vacant. I mean, I know it's been vacant for years, but
My guess is over a decade.
yeah, I mean, if somebody has lived there, there was evidently at least a attempted rehab at one point, and it looks as though, I mean, I don't know what happened, but it looks as though the second floor was, I should add, Cindy's nephew, Zach Baxter, is also here tonight. He's been doing some of the cleanup work, and Zach has also worked on like the cotton mill and the buildings, rehab buildings in town. It's likely he'll have some role depending upon who the successful contractor is. The quote we have in front of you is from in fact Herschel Bricktoe, who was the contractor of the cotton mill. That was the only one that was in hand in time for the PACE grant application. but we're also, have also been receiving some more bids to try to get competitive pricing on some of the subcontract.
So Lee, I'm assuming it's gonna be just like the original structure when they're done, is that right?
No, this is gonna be a rehab, it's not
Like,
restoration.
it's not gonna look the same from the outside?
Oh, the
It'll
exterior,
look
will, yeah,
identical.
the exterior will
Yeah.
be, in fact, actually,
Preserve all
as
the
far as
features.
the exterior is concerned, she's gonna be, actually reinstating some of the, original features,
Cool.
appearance that was altered as part of the modernization. In fact, I included the, 1988 photograph from the Indiana Historic Sites and Structures inventory that showed, at that time, it still had what appears to be the original windows in it, it still had a little stick style detailing on the little front porch, and it evidently just went downhill from that point on. So, yeah, no, the exterior will be essentially restoring or replicating the original appearances as near as possible, with the possible exception of a back porch that, I mean, you can see the back of the house from, there's a north-south alley there. In fact, it's called Saddle Tree.
Saddle Tree.
Yeah.
And the roof is marginally visible. And actually, there are two things I would add. Cindy's initial hope was to either to rehabilitate the existing sheet metal roof, which may in fact be the original from the time the house was built in 1903, but it's been leaking for so long, and it's not just pinhole leaks that are easily patched, that are actually gaping holes. So her initial thought was that the roof would have to be replaced, and she wanted to do it with a modern version of a standing sheet metal roof. But because this is, but in the meantime, some of the estimates that have been coming in, the difference in cost between that type of standard sheet metal and just ordinary fiberglass architectural shingles, the sheet metal is 2.5 to 3 times the cost of shingles. And in a situation like this where, I mean, the roof is marginally visible from the street, but it's not as though it's a really substantial design feature.
Yeah.
So, and I think her hope, I mean, if the roof does have to be replaced, her hope is to go back with sheet metal. But if the Park Service will approve replacement with a substitute material, meaning fiberglass shingles, that would be the option. But in any event, the amount spent is gonna far exceed the amount needed to match, to match the $25,000 for this category of work. So that plus the, and then also the windows. The existing windows are mediocre or poor quality modern replacement windows that, at least as far as we can tell, they have not already failed, but they've been put in so long ago that they're probably, I mean, replacement windows don't last very long, and that's why they're called replacement windows, because when you put them in, you know you're gonna have to replace them fairly soon. So there is some question as to whether it's worth replacing those windows now, knowing that they're gonna go bad soon. And if that is the way we go, meaning replacing them, it will be with replacement sash that replicate the 2/2 light sash division that is shown in that 1988 photograph. So I know from having been on this committee in fact in the past that sometimes when there is question about the way project's going to turn out, they would certainly be working with both Nicole and Brooke Peach, the city's preservation coordinator. So those are the two items that, based on what was known at the time the application was filed, it was pretty much certain that that she was going to do the total roof replacement with sheet metal and replace all the existing replacement windows. But I guess I just asked for some degree of latitude in terms of what this committee approves. And then the other factor is that the State Division of Historic Preservation and Archaeology, both the state level and the National Park Service, also have to review all these plans and approve them in order to claim the tax credit. And there's always the possibility, I mean, from having done a lot of that type of work for private clients many years ago, normally when an application is filed, it's well constructed, it's approved, but I've also run into situations where either the DHPA staff questions or ask for a change, or even if they approve it, occasionally the Park Service staff in Washington ask for changes. So my hunch is that if they did ask for changes, they would be so insignificant that it would not require another appearance before this board or the Historic District Board review. And that's the other thing I haven't really discussed with Nicole or Brooke at this point. Based on my understanding of the way the Historic District Board has been handling work like this in the past, I'm not specifically aware of anything that would have to be reviewed by the Historic District Board. But if there is some element of the work that is either outlined here or that winds up being part of the original plan, and we do have to go to the Historic District Board, that will happen. And I'd also like to add that Cindy, the owner, actually flew up from, she lives in Fort Myers, where I also had my home. She flew up for the meeting that was originally scheduled, but it was canceled for whatever reason, and she was not able to get time off from work, so that's a good, I was planning to attend just for moral support this last time, but I'm here on her behalf because she could not attend this meeting tonight.
Yeah, the only thing that would probably, prompt a HDBR review would maybe be the windows. If you're saying those are replacement.
They're modern replacement. They're modern vinyl replacement windows. And if we do stick with the idea of replacing those windows now, it will not be vinyl. It will be wood clad,
Okay.
Either wood or aluminum clad wood.
Okay.
That do and the change in the sash configuration conforms with archivally documented facts.
And do you know if Cindy intends to just use this as an investment property?
Investment, rental, there's
Okay.
some question as to whether it be just flat out rental or Airbnb or some combination thereof. But at least for the foreseeable future, she would not anticipate being a personal residence. But because the Baxter family, she was from here essentially, and has other family here other than Zach. So there's always the possibility at some point in the future there could be a personal summer residence or occasional, guest house type thing. But no, it is not currently envisioned as a private residence, like a personal residence.
Okay, thank you.
Link, does that roof leak so bad that it caused all this damage in here?
Oh, yeah.
That's bad, wasn't it?
There, in some areas, the masonry has been compromised to some extent that might have allowed some moisture infiltration through the walls, but no, the roof leaks for decades have caused that plus kind of questionable rehab practices in the past. So.
Well, does anybody have any more questions here? I have no problem.
So this is,
You know what, I'm gonna say this though, this one picture here is in our packet, where the house is all lined up here by the fire station. And
Oh,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, think about that, when that house is done, all that gets done, that's beautiful. I mean, that's
there's the one,
beautiful.
but Cindy doesn't own the one in the middle, right? She owns the north side.
The one on the extreme north end.
Yeah, yeah.
It's,
But you're right, that whole row there,
That whole row,
it's
just
great
like a
architecture.
snapshot of it.
yeah, and I say they're almost identical. The one south of the firehouse is actually set back it doesn't sit on the property line. It's set back a little bit from
Yeah.
the property line, so it's
Right.
like a dooryard garden.
Can you see
But,
that?
yeah, and I really don't know the full history of why those three houses were built at the same time, set that way. But I think there was some investment from one of the saddle tree factory companies, and that we just haven't done all the full research. So I think they might have been built as speculative houses or rental property for the benefit of some of the other saddle tree factory.
Yeah. Well, you got more questions for us?
No, not me.
You know how it all works, so,
Yeah, okay, thanks.
thank you, Lane.
I want to say also thank you to everybody who's presented tonight for the investment they're making, because this is a matching grant program. And it takes the private investment in order to qualify for the matching grant, and there's a lot of great work that's being proposed in these applications tonight.
Any questions?
first application, Marcus Gregg, 124 East Street, minimum score was 28. The application scored 29.3. Second application, Georgia Hall, 506 Jefferson Street, minimum score was 30. That application scored 41.7. Third application, Scott Axline, 707 Walnut Street, minimum score is 21. The application scored 24.7. And final application, Cynthia Stewart, 812 Walnut Street, minimum score is 28. The application scored 36.7.
Okay, sounds good.
Your available balance is just over 111,000. Total request is over 60,000. So you have plenty of funds to fund all applications.
So, you'll make a motion to accept
I
these,
move that we accept all
all the applicants?
applications.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Well, thank you so much, and so, you will then take them to the Board of Works, and then you will get in contact with everybody else.
Yes.
The next thing on our agenda is amendments to the program. I feel like we ought to table that till we get all of the participants here.
Okay. You will have new members of the board next year. There's a couple of board members who have decided to come off. I'm looking at one of them.
It's a great program. I
Wait a
enjoy
minute,
being part of it.
I didn't know you did that.
Well, sure you can do it.
You
Well,
just
it's
might-
not, I'm not,
you just might take your place?
I'm not a Supreme Court justice.
You just might take your place?
No.
Still to be determined. He's gonna help us look.
Okay.
Yes, but so, yes, we will, I'll put that on.
And then we also need to get one, somebody from the county, don't we?
Yes, we still have a vacancy from the county, when they give us funds.
And, okay. So, I guess with all that being said, is there any other business to discuss right now?
If you don't mind, I'd like to make a couple remarks here.
Sure.
First, I want to say, Donnie, thank you for serving on the PACE board. As Nicole mentioned, we will have 3 vacancies, I believe, that we will need to appoint for 2022. But I'm grateful for everybody who has helped support the PACE program, bring the PACE program to the success that it has enjoyed last year, and particularly in 2021. 2021 has been our largest investment year and return in the program's history. And I think these numbers are understated because it really only talks about the scope of the project that's eligible for the match. But in 2021, this is before tonight's applications, this includes tonight's? The city has provided $407,000 in match funds. We've received $183,000 from county dollars, which is a great, a little over $500,000 that's produced almost $2 million of private investment. Our ratio, which we're looking at leveraging, is now it's creeping up to 4 to 1, which is in the program's history also a game changer for us. This program is part of our broader blight elimination plan, and we really announced a more comprehensive blight elimination plan a couple of months ago. PACE is a really, really critical ingredient in that because that's an incentive program that leverages our dollars with private investment. And as you commented earlier, Bill, about all of the homes that have been rehabilitated across the community that are either in the past or being done now, it's making a tremendous difference across the community. Property values are up. This also works toward reducing crime in blighted areas. So that's why we're so grateful for everybody who is making a personal investment in rehabilitating these properties because it has a dramatic impact on the neighborhoods. The city is continuing to make a big investment in its goal for a clean, safe, and beautiful Madison. And while we have one end of the spectrum, which is incentives, The other end of the spectrum is code enforcement. So we do have some properties that are dilapidated, dangerous, unsafe, unkept, where we've not been able to attract the right partnership from an incentive perspective. We've been lagging the city's been lagging for years with regards to code enforcement, but that is a priority of ours for 2022 and is part of our more comprehensive blight elimination plan. And so our 2022 budget, which has already been approved by City Council and by Department of Local Government Finance, which is the regulatory body at the state level that supervises our budgets, we've already made a commitment to invest in code enforcement resources as well as incentives. So we will be looking at the whole arc of blight and really combining and integrating both the incentives and the code enforcement aspects of it to even produce greater outcomes than what we've done in the last couple of years. But I'm grateful for everybody's investment and the participation of the PACE Board, Board of Public Works, which allocates the money, City Council and County Council, who appropriates money, as well as the Redevelopment Commission, which contributes money to all of this cause, and it is having a great impact.
You know, I want to say also the original board was a little different. It was more historic preservation only.
Right.
And this is opened up to beautify Madison.
Right.
And if you think about it, we even have a hilltop home that was sitting there like a junk for, I don't know how long it was sitting there.
Long time.
And now, like, you go by there now, it's a nice home.
It's beautiful, and then most people don't think about the hilltop as being historic, but there are a lot of older homes up there now that are 50 to 75 years. Some of them are in different states of condition, like what we were experiencing and still experience downtown. But having a strategy that is citywide is great for the city. And again, our goals here is clean, safe, and beautiful, and then we distill that down into a lot of different key initiatives. And we're just, again, supportive, grateful for all of the financial support coming either from the private sector or from our redevelopment commission or from our two local governments. That's making a big difference across town.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. With that being said, we have no more business, so make a motion to adjourn. Second, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next meeting will be January 11th at 5:30. And I already have applications filed for it, so we will have a meeting.
We're good.
It's great. Great.
Good meeting, I think, some of the work that we've done now is going to be unreal. As I go by and see them, it seems like they don't move very